Domenico in the Room podcast, and joining me today is Pete Jeffrey, owner and head coach at Tri-Force MMA BJJ in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. We have Pete on today. We're going to catch up with Pete, see what's been going on through this quarantine and how he's managing his camp, his gym, his fighters, his members all through this and keeping them motivated. Thanks for coming on, Pete. How's it going?
Yeah, man, it's going well. Thanks. I guess as well as it could be at this stage of the game. We're doing okay. I try to keep track of as many members as I can just through, our social media pages and stuff, and, putting techniques out there and doing what a lot of the other schools are doing. The internet is 100% saturated with awesome jiu-jitsu and awesome techniques and striking stuff going on. I mean, there's people posting stuff basically from everywhere, which is awesome, except for the fact that nobody gets to actually do it, for the most part, live in person, unless you're Craig Jones or somebody.
Yeah. Now you talked about members. How many members, as far round off that you have as far as both sides of the camp? Because you have your brother that's on the other side doing the TFW. How many you got all together in Tri-Force?
On the fight team and people that do jiu-jitsu and kids classes and all that sort of stuff, we were somewhere at around 220 or so members. And then there's probably about the same for my brother doing all the fitness stuff. And, of course, the fighters go over there. We're over there. We're like, 50 steps the other direction or on the way in and use our workout gym and do some of the training for Warrior stuff and get ready for their fights. So, it was a match made in heaven until it all came to a screeching halt. I was talking to somebody today about it, and I'm like, man, my last class, I think there was 50 people there. And, I didn't see this happening. I didn't see it going this way. We had Nate fighting on Bellator the next night. We had Dan Cormier fighting on Saturday the following night. And it was just like I was supposed to go to Texas for Carlos Machado's affiliate weekend. And I was going to be coaching there on Sunday and doing some stuff. And basically, obviously, the world fell through. A lot of people still ended up making affiliate weekend in Texas, which was cool. But having kids and all that sort of stuff, we decided not to make it. And literally that Monday, things fell apart. So, it was falling apart over the weekend, and then it just kind of everything fell through, and it leads us to where we are right now, which is touch and go day to day.
Yeah, and when you did close, it was Jim started making them, them Facebook posts that they were going to take a week off. I think it was March 13th or somewhere around that? What weekend was that?
I think on my public page it was right around March 13th because we still have that tag that posted at the top.
Okay.
But man, I look back at the date today, I was like, whoa. But that was a while ago, should probably update it, but at the same time, unless you live in an absolute cave,
yeah,
you know what's going on, what's happening. I mean, if they're not opening restaurants and parks and even streets in some cases in Providence, and it's like there's certainly not going to be like we're dead last, man. We're talking about fighting and doing jiu-jitsu and breathing on each other and sweating on each other, and we're going to be dead last in that. So we're looking to hopefully end up being part of phase 2, which would be awesome. I think phase 1 right now is going to be a little bit more essential people and getting some people back to work and see how that goes, and then from there we'll move on to phase 2, which still won't be any jiu-jitsu. Still won't be any like kids classes, but it would be, some cardio stuff. We can do some yoga. We're going to be adding some of that stuff for people into the program. And, striking classes. You can do a lot of that. Bag work classes, self-defense things, obviously, again, without contact. And it would be classes of 10 people, sign up. Luckily, we have a program where people can go on and sign up for classes like you would do for like a spin class.
Yeah.
It's crazy with the size of my gym where I can host 50 or 60 people that I'm boiling it down to 10. But, these are the times that we live in. So, it's, I'm just hoping to get back in there and get something opened up. For me, it's the first time I haven't worked since I was like 13 years old. So I don't really know. I've been doing a lot of yard work.
Yeah.
We post videos like 5 times a week, myself and the other coaches. Sometimes we throw some live classes in there. Just to keep in contact with people. And now I have students going on as well, and they're posting some good videos.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we want. I'm hoping that something like this changes the way that a lot of people are coaching or adds on to because I'm not a huge social media guy by any stretch. I don't go on Facebook that much. We have an Instagram page. We do that sort of stuff. And, I'm a bare minimum guy. I'm pretty hands-on. So being on social media all the time, I usually find out most of the stuff that's going on from my wife. And, then I supplement myself in and do what I need to do. But for me, I'm hands-on, keeping track of what everybody's doing, who's fighting who's got what's coming up, what grappling tournaments are coming up, who's doing kickboxing. And now, it's just me. I'm homeschooling my kids.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing, and, we're just waiting to open back up. So, that's kind of where it's at right now.
Well, you are a little lucky because your wife, she does jiu-jitsu at the gym. She does a lot of managing of the gym. So you guys are kind of business partners together. So you're handling a lot together. Are you guys training together? I know you do a lot of, you must do private sessions with your wife because she has her own class. I think she has for, the women's class. So is that helping? Are you guys kind of, Pete, you're pretty high level jiu-jitsu, but can you perfect your craft anymore with your wife there in quarantine?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I mean, there's always things to do. She's a blue belt now, so she brings a lot of skills to the table, and it's interesting because she does a lot of things that I do, and it makes it kind of hard for me. Like she knows how I'm going to pass and things like that. So when you're working, that's the only person you get to work with. They get to build a pretty good game against you, and it gives me an idea to explore different ideas. And then, of course, I'm shooting videos from my house a lot of times because we've got kids.
Yep.
So I've got a mat set up, in my downstairs kind of studio room, and she's my partner for those things. So we'll put up a line of videos that way. But we should probably get more time in. But she's also a full-time nurse, and if you can imagine what it's like being a nurse in this amount of time, in this day and age, it's really crazy. And there's a lot of propaganda going on out there. So I get what's really going on at the hospital, as opposed to what the media says is going on at the hospital. And it is pretty scary. I'd probably be in that scenario of just like, this is a joke, and let's get back at it, and what are we doing? But I get that inside scoop, and it's like, ooh, yeah, we're not really kidding around here. I mean, I'm glad the numbers are low right now. I'm hoping when we reopen and start going through phase 1 that the numbers stay low and we can get back to some sort of life around here because, I know people are itching to do it. So I know you probably did. You get keep things busy with the fight game. And
I miss it.
Podcasts and whatnot.
Pete, I miss talking to your fighters. I miss talking to your kids about, getting ready for fights and fighting for belts. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm missing it dramatically here.
Man, just between, I would say like there was the Cage Titans card and the CES card. We probably had 10 people combined on both of those cards. 2 or 3 people were fighting for titles. Being where the fights were at the time, there were 2. There was possibly 3 getting scheduled for title fights. So it's like, man, it was crazy to see it all just come to a complete halt. But again, talking to my wife and seeing what's going on, where people were optimistic early on, I was not optimistic. I knew that stuff was going to get shut down real quick, and I was real happy to see what Bellator did, with Nate and all of those fighters. Because again, I was going, that was my plan.
Yeah.
I was actually flying out to Texas, early the next morning at like 6 a.m. To go do those seminars and stuff out there with Master Carlos, and everything kind of fell through. So props to Bellator for taking care of their fighters and doing the right thing, and the people showed up and they made weigh-ins, and everybody got paid, including the people setting up the show and stuff. So I mean, that's really what you do. I hope being a business that they can find ways to come back and get some money back for that, and obviously keep the ball rolling when things are good to go.
Excellent. Well, keeping the ball rolling, Pete. Those UFC's kind of they're trying to get out there. They are the only sport that looks like it's going to be happening sooner than later. I mean, we've had 3 or 4 cards canceled with them because of this, this terrible thing going on with the world. But it looks like there might be light at the end of the tunnel. We got the card this weekend. Pete, what are you feeling about this? I mean, I know you got a little inside word. You cross-trained. You've coached Jorgen. I mean, even Calvin, all them. Is this card going on? Are we going to be watching a card on Saturday night, Pete, in your eyes?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's gone this far, I mean, we're on Tuesday right now. It would be an absolute travesty for this card not to happen at this point. For these fighters to be able to keep training partners, keep coaches who have families and training partners who have families and people that they can bring illness back to. And like, I mean, these guys have everybody that's fighting on the card, they've all gone from training with 15 people to 10 people in their camps to maybe one, and then they're doing pad work and they're probably doing more road work. And, so you're probably going to see some different fighters, or, you're going to see some different versions of the fighters that we've seen. But I'm super excited for Calvin and Jorgen, to be on this card. And I mean, those guys, nothing's going to stop them. I mean, Calvin, obviously, proof is in the pudding. I've been watching that guy, even when I was coming up fighting, he took a good hiatus and then came back and is still killing it. And, mentally he's super strong, so nothing really deters him. And then you get somebody like Jorgen, if he didn't prove to everybody in front of 96,000 people in somebody else's hometown that he is probably one of the most game fighters in the heavyweight division, then I don't know how you do that. He's definitely proven it, and that's going to be a super exciting fight to watch as well. So, and it pops to his coaches, the guys over at Regiment, obviously making sure that he still has direction, he still has, training partners every day, and coming up with game plans to go against a pretty big, kind of seasoned guy at this point in Greg Hardy, who's, started in the show, and he's, he went from completely smashing people to having some hard times and actually figuring it out while he's in there. So as a big looming guy, he's a hard guy to deal with, but you don't want to walk into anything that Jorgen's throwing, because if you step into it, that guy is just, he's dropping power. So, and I am 100% sure that they're going to be aware of that, and hopefully they don't make it a boring fight. I think Jorgen's going to bring it either way. I hope that if he does start to see that this guy's a little intimidating coming in, that he presses the action and gets on him a little bit, and really, I think that's going to keeping this guy on his heels is going to be the way to do it for Greg Hardy. So, and as far as Calvin, he's got the height and the reach advantage. He's an excellent boxer. He's an excellent grappler. He's super well-rounded, and so is his partner. Smarts-wise, I don't know. Like, Calvin's probably a little smarter when it comes down to, because I don't think he's going to get sucked into anything he doesn't want to get sucked into. Whereas, Jeremy Stevens is very seasoned, but he's one of those guys that, man, he could get suckered into that war. However, there's no crowd to fuel that war. So maybe he comes out being a super smart guy in this fight, and, you see maybe a different Jeremy Stevens. So,
yeah.
It's super interesting. And again, there's a ton of other great fights on that card. Even Cerrone and Pettis.
Yeah,
wow.
It's UFC is coming with. I mean, they have to come with someone if a card like this. If they're getting the go ahead, and they've canceled so many shows, they got to come with all the guns blazing, whatever big time fighters they can get together. I mean, we've had Calvin and Jorgen waiting 3 cards now, along with Tony Ferguson.
How about that, right? That's going to be insane.
It's crazy. Pete, 2 weight cuts he's going through. I mean, he proved the weight cut, 2.5 weeks ago when, he was supposed to fight. And now he's doing it again. I mean, these fighters are hungry and they need to fight, and they're showing up and putting it on the line on Saturday, man.
That's going to be crazy. I think if Tony tries to go the distance and gets it into the 3rd round, he's going to have a lot of success, because, right away I think Gaethje's coming out to try to finish it within the first 2 rounds, and if he doesn't, he's going to leave his brain in the ring or something, and that's what people love about that guy.
Yeah.
So, you want to bring fire for silence and no people, that's going to be
awesome.
Absolute look.
And
these guys are just going to hear themselves grunting.
Yes. Yeah, I was just going to say that. We're going to hear everything.
I'm sorry, but that's a totally different fight, because even in the gym, a lot of times there's music on, there's people saying stuff, there's banter, there's things going on, and you're going to hear absolute silence when you're hitting somebody. So the headspace for these fighters is definitely going to be a different scenario. And, we watched one card at home the last card they did in Brazil, and it was pretty weird.
Yeah, with no crowd there. Pete, I thought it was going to be worse than it was, but I kind of enjoyed it because I could hear the coaches in the corner telling them what to do. It was interesting to be able to hear that and hear the commentary kind of, it was almost like, I don't want to say it was almost like listening to golf or something. I mean, it was a quiet kind of breakdown of the sport.
That was it. That was Pride back in the day. There'd be like, 90,000 people in, Saitama Super Arena, and you would hear a pin drop. I mean, they were so in tune to what was going on. And to me, I don't know, I'm kind of preferential treatment to that. That's like a different class of really knowing what's going on. And, nothing against the crowds that are around Europe and the United States and, all that, but it's just that's a different feel for what's going on. It's almost like going and watching a classical music concert, as opposed to a rock concert that we get now. So now it's going to be a little bit more like classical music. So the art form will really come out when there's nothing else to drive it, which I appreciate that. I'm sitting here in my studio because it's the quietest place that I can get in my house with 2 kids and all that sort of stuff. But I'm into the arts of it for sure.
Awesome. Last question before I let you go, give you shout outs and how we get in touch with you, the gym and all that. Pete, you got a bunch of fighters out there. I mean, Tri-Force is not only a gym, a camp, a training ground for beasts and fighters looking to get in the UFC. You have people there just to go for, get workouts. To your brother Keith across the way is motivating people, changing their lives with exercise and getting them, physically fit to take on anything in their life. You have fighters under your belt that Tri-Force is a home to them. A lot of them come up from broken homes. They think of you as, a bigger brother, some as a father figure. How do you keep them all together and motivated when they can't get to the gym? When hands-on, you can really get to them, and if they're things are going off track for them, you can kind of grab them and say, "Listen here." How do you keep them together and motivated until you open up again?
We have a private page on Facebook that I post a lot of stuff and try to keep people interested, whether it would be just techniques. Sometimes I go on and talk. I try not to bombard people with, a ton of just like talking, because especially with the internet being saturated with a ton of stuff, I like to keep things going team-wise. Like, hey guys, here's the stuff that we're going to be working on, or like what I found to be, or what I thought would be a good thing. I'll find out when I go back to see how many people are really getting it. But people want to continue training. So I actually get to the point where, like, I had just done a whole gym restoration in December, and we put in a ton of new mats. So we probably have like 5,000, 6,000 square feet of mat space, and I had a whole bunch of leftover mats. So when this whole thing started, I gave out for free a ton of mats, probably to like 20 to 25 people. Anybody that was interested in coming in and getting mats, I said, come in and take them, and they're yours, and I'm going to be posting videos. And if you can find one person on the team that you feel comfortable working out with, or just doing a technique thing, or grab a grappling dummy, whatever you could do, striking videos, but you have a mat space. I did some workout stuff, and I just try to touch base with people, on the page and putting things up there. And really, if the reason I'm putting it up there is so they can keep training their brain. I know a lot of people can't jump on the mat with a partner right now, but you can always train your brain. So I've been putting up technique, at least 3 or 4 techniques or so a week, and sometimes 2 or 3 at a time in each session, just to get people to keep the brain going. So when I come back, I can be like, hey, we're doing this, this, and this, and it's on the site. Go check it out, which kind of goes along with what I was talking about earlier, the social media aspect of things. And for my idea is when we get back in full swing, not everybody can make every class, but man, some people want to make every class. I have some people that are, most people go unlimited. They can train 7 days a week unlimited. And for us, we have a 15,000 square foot facility, all the weights and bags, everything you want to train, everything that we ever wanted back in the day when I was fighting, to train all in one facility and a ton of coaches. So you can come in at any time in my gym in regular life and train if you're on unlimited. So whether it's come in, work out, do bag work, jump rope, lift weights, and then take a class, and then stretch, and we're going to have it. So that was our overall objective, for the team. But now that we don't have that, what are you coming back to? So we try to keep the brain sharp because we know we can't come right back to jiu-jitsu, but we can come back to, hey, maybe those people that were always thinking about doing a little bit of striking and they're looking to get off the couch a little bit because, man, it's hard to not be on the couch. It's hard to not get lazy.
Yeah.
It's hard, I can't go to the gym. And I'm hoping that it goes along the lines that people can't wait and they're busting the door down and get back. And I'll run classes, as many classes as I can in groups of 10 with face masks on.
Yep.
And you give the green light, we're going to find stuff to do that's going to keep everybody going. And, I'm pretty confident that the majority of my team is going to be, chomping at the bit and ready to go. I know the fighters are. I keep track or try to send messages to as many people as possible. But, MailChimp, if I'm going to get everybody, I'll send some group message out on MailChimp, just letting people know what's going on if they're not on Facebook or social media things that we put out there. I'm still able to touch base, which is, everything from kids class to adult classes to whatever. We're a little different in the fact that I noticed the majority of gyms that we run into have, 75% kids in their program and 25% adults. Whereas for me, I think I'm the complete opposite. I'm like 20% kids and 80% adults, and professional fighters and people that want grappling careers and people who want to kickbox. And, and for me, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I love the kids. I love building the kids. I have some awesome kids class coaches, and I'm one of them as well. But, for me, I really enjoy working with high-level people, professionals, people that are really just motivated and into what they're doing. Whether it's a beginner in jiu-jitsu or it's a professional fighter, if they're motivated, I'm psyched. And that's kind of what drives me. And man, I miss it. So, I get to get a lot of yard work done. And get to play a lot of music.
Yeah, you must be digging holes and making things all over that yard.
I tell you what, I've gotten a lot of stuff done, which is really good. But I'm at this point now where I'm like, okay, I wake up every day and I'm like,
yeah. Well, Pete, I think we're kind of over the hill. I mean, you're going to know before we do, or as far as I'm going to know, because your wife is a nurse and you do kind of get, that frontline kind of information. But I think it's going to trickle in, Pete. I think, like you said, that next phase, they're going to start opening the gyms, let a few people in, do that social distance. And we're going to learn. We're going to evolve. We're going to have to do it if we want to do it. And it's going to happen. And, you're doing it online. You're still keeping everyone motivated. We got the fight this Saturday, which is going to make a spark for the whole country, knowing that MMA is back. And at least we have something to watch and look forward to. It'll trickle down to the smaller people,
If their ratings aren't through the roof for this one, I don't know what to do to get me. I mean, even if you don't like mixed martial arts, you watch zero sports or you watch reruns, or the Jordan thing is actually pretty cool on Netflix going on, The Last Dance. But, other than that, it's like, man,
yeah,
it's crazy. There's been no sports. So, I think people that don't even watch the fights are going to probably watch the fights coming up, this weekend. And I'm excited, especially for Jorgen and Calvin. And especially, Donald Cerrone. We had some ties to Donald. Donald was a super guy. He, came in and did a bunch of training with us for the fight with Mike Perry. Yeah, for that fight. So, I'm super psyched for those. I'm very interested to see what Donald does.
Yeah.
Coming back against Pettis this time. The last one was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think that was when they first got into the UFC, right? When they fought each other.
Cerrone was there already, I think, a little while, and then Pettis came up, and I hope it stays interesting. I'm really hoping that he doesn't keep coming up with that lefty stance against Cerrone, because that honestly, if you look back at his record, I want to see the majority of his losses are against lefties.
Well, Pete, there you are, man. We talked about the Jorgen fight a little bit. We talked about Calvin's. I mean, you're analyzing the fight. We can see you miss it. That's why I love talking to you. I mean, you're a coach. You're a lover of the game, and I mean, you're a teacher, man. I love it, Pete. Last thing before I let you go, give your social media out there. Any way, we can get in touch with you. And, people want to join Tri-Force when they reopen or get on that, Zoom or whatever social media you're producing out there.
Yeah, cool, man. We have our regular Tri-Force MMA Facebook page for the public page. We also have our Instagram, which I believe on Instagram we're Tri-Force MMA BJJ. We've got Tri-Force MMA as our website, so you can always send an email over, and I'm going to get that email. It's awesome. I have talked to a lot of people that are interested in trying it out. They're like, I know you're not open, but let us know as soon as you can, and we want to come in and we want to check it out. So I know people are definitely itching, and I like the fact in this kind of economy and everything that's going on that people are still putting that as something that they want to do when they get back at it. So it's something I'm going to be doing no matter what. I can't wait to get back at it. I can't wait to see all the people on my team again because, for me, everybody on my team is like family. I really don't have one of the main things that I love about the team is there's no cliques. There isn't this group of people and this group of people. Everybody is really into being a whole. Everybody helps everybody. Everybody supports people when they fight and, picks them up when they're down and so on and so forth. And you miss that when it's not there. So, and they do for me too, man. I might be the coach, I might be the leader of the team, but there's a lot of times where, I get to talk to people and I'm like, hey, yeah, you know what? They change your perspective a little bit. So
yeah.
I love my kids. It's been me and a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old for the most part. And, motivation-wise, to be a good dad, they're awesome, but they don't understand really totally what's going on in the world right now. So,
yeah.
Talk to some other adults would be fantastic. So it was definitely awesome to talk to you and to talk fights a little bit. And I look forward to this weekend. And I'm hoping Phase 2 starts. We were going to look to start to opening up classes next week. But it doesn't look like it's going to go that way for Phase 1 for gyms. So Phase 2, hopefully no more than 2 weeks after that, a week after that, if things are going well, we'll start to ease things back in. I think we'll be along the line of hairdressers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll start doing some small classes and private classes and getting things going. Of course, by the letter of the law, because I'm not messing with my family or anybody else's family. So, but we will come back, and I think I'm really hoping that they come up with some kind of something that testing, cure-wise, whatever it is that they can make it so we can actually get some local fights back for these other fighters that are coming up. Because there's a lot of variables. There's those guys that had that final push and they were close to their end of their career and they wanted to make that final push. And it's like, dude, you're killing my time right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We're supposed to be fighting 3 times this year and now there's no cards. So I'm happy that the UFC and the upper echelon are going to keep pushing, but no new fighters are getting signed, no new fighters are getting opportunity to get in there. So, and I have a ton of them.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to get them going and get them back in there. So maybe by the end of the year, we can start doing some sort of live shows, even if it's with the distancing thing where they section off place. That would be on the promoter to figure that stuff out. I'll show up with the guys and or girls.
We'll get it done. We'll get it done on both sides. It's going to get done, Pete. It's going to happen at some point. We'll figure it out, definitely. Until then, Pete, I'll come down to the gym, when we hit Phase 2 and, you guys are starting to roll and you're starting to have some classes in there. I'll come down and we'll talk about how it's going and let everyone know how an MMA gym, the biggest one in Rhode Island, is doing and getting back on track here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, and hopefully it'll be good press at that point where we're saying all good things. And, moving forward, summertime's coming, or it's here. We've had some nice days, which, man, that definitely helps.
Yeah, definitely.
People in California that complain, I just want to be like, guys,
yeah.
You can at least go outside and, sit outside and do different things. We're just getting that about now, which, man, that makes a big difference. So,
yeah, awesome.
Well, Steve and everybody out there. In New England MMA and further. Good luck to Calvin and Jorgen this weekend. You guys rock. And,
awesome.
let's get after it.
There you go. Thanks so much, Pete, man. Pleasure talking to you, man. It's always great. And I'll see you as soon as that gym opens and we'll get another chat in.
Awesome, Steve. I look forward to it, buddy.
All right. Take care.
I mean, you too.